Howdy class. Today I'm going to show you how to find out if your interdisciplinary thinker has made an impact or influenced other fields. Hopefully by now you would have already bookmarked the LibGuide for your class, but if not, I'll show you how to access the library homepage by starting at the Lee College homepage. What you need to do is you need to click on the library button here at the top. So click on library and and then you want to click on LibGuides. Click over here where it says select a guide on the right hand side and scroll down until you get to English 1302 Miller 8-week course, and then click on go. And here we are at the Lee College LibGuide. Don't know why it took so long to load, but it did. Normally it doesn't take that long. So what I want to do is I'm going to show you how to search, do a search to find out if your interdisciplinary thinker has influenced other fields. You want to come down here all the way almost to the bottom, and we're going to search on Academic Search Complete. So click on Academic Search Complete. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to type the following search. I'm going to do Steve Jobs in quotes on the top box. On the middle box, I'm going to put all the disciplines that he might have influence over. So I'm going to put psychology or speech or education or humanities or philosophy. So you can come up with as many disciplines as you can think of as to for your interdisciplinary thinker that you think he might have or she may have influenced other fields. So I just came up with all those, and then I'm going to search. The last one I'm going to search for is influence and notice down here it brings up everything. It says influence or impact or effect or affect. So that's going to be my search. And I'm going to click on search. Oh, one thing I forgot is we want to come back here. We want to click on choose databases. Okay, so I'm going to click on choose databases. This will allow you, this is just in case you don't find enough articles that you need for your interdisciplinary thinker. So what you could do is select all. So this selects all of the databases, EBSCO databases. So I'm going to click select all, click on OK. So now that shows that Academic Search Complete, and I'm searching all of the EBSCO databases. So I'm going to click on search. Alright, big difference. Now we get 428 articles. Alright, now what I challenge you to do with this search is that you need to, I would suggest that you at least go the first 30 citations and look at them, and then even go to the next 30 to see if they might be relevant. Because sometimes you might miss some if you don't go that far. Alright? So another thing about doing a search for your interdisciplinary thinker is that sometimes it's not very obvious that the influence that they have on other fields. So it's important that you go and read the abstract and even read the article and pick and choose different areas that you think might be relevant. It won't be necessarily relevant in the title necessarily. So you have to have some patience, and so it's kind of a difficult search to perform. So this search up here is what I suggest that you do. So notice the first one, it says persuading the unpersuadable. So let's check on that. Let's read the abstract on that and see how that might be relevant. Okay, and basically it says that this person went through and analyzed the number of people who were successful in motivating the notoriously self-confident Steve Jobs to change his mind. Okay, so this is an example of how a researcher down the line in psychology used the personality of Steve Jobs and how he influenced their research. Okay, so that would definitely be one that you'd be interested in. So what you want to do is come over here and click on Add to Folder. So I'm going to add that article to my folder so I can get a whole bunch of articles by the time I'm all done. Okay. Thank you for disrupting the disruptive business philosophies. That's more related to the world of business, so I'm going to move on that. Let's keep going. Here's one, narcissism, a predictor of success in professional roles. So I'm going to click on that. Again, it's important to read the abstract to see how your interdisciplinary thinker influenced other fields. Okay, this talks about how narcissism, personality disorder that Steve Jobs had, really benefited him and made him a successful CEO. Okay, and so that's an example of how Steve Jobs' personality, which the psychology person identified as narcissism, was something that influenced them. So I'm going to definitely come up here and I'm going to click on Add to Folder. So that's my second article. I'm going to go back to our results. Here's one. What makes a charismatic speaker? A computer-based acoustic prosonic analysis of Steve Jobs' tone of voice. So now this is an example of how he may have influenced speech, the speech field or communication field. So I'd want to add that to my folder. Now notice down here it doesn't say full text. So sometimes we do get articles in our results that aren't in full text, and if you do your research early enough, you can put in an interlibrary loan request with me, and we can try to borrow it from you from another library. Usually it'll take 2 to 3 weeks to get here. So you want to get there, you want to get us the information as soon as possible. All right, and sometimes this particular article might be found in another database, but it just it's not shown in this search. So just contact me and give me the information. I'll see what I can find for you. All right, keep scrolling down. Here's one, Levinsonian Seasons in the Life of Steve Jobs, a psychobiographical case study. So I'm going to click on that. Just again to read the abstract. And basically what this is talking about is the influence, what influenced Steve Jobs. So this would be an example of how he was an interdisciplinary thinker, of what influenced him, not so much how he influenced others. So you might want to use this same strategy for both. Both how he was an interdisciplinary thinker and how he influenced other fields. Okay, so this is just an example of how he would be an interdisciplinary thinker. So I'm going to go back. So I'm not going to select that one. Next one is charismatic leadership and rhetorical competence. Okay, here it is right here. So this would be an example. Again, there's the interlibrary loan. So that means you need to contact us. So what I'm going to do is click on the folder, because again that does sound relevant. Another trick is you can always copy this title, paste it into Google, and see if the title shows up somewhere else on the internet. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So that's another suggestion if you find this where it says request interlibrary loan. But this is an example of how Steve Jobs has influenced the field of speech or rhetoric. Okay, I'm going to keep scrolling down. All right. Here's one. This one is, which role model is more effective in entrepreneurship education? An investigation of storytelling on individual entrepreneurial intention. So I click on that. All right, this is an example of how Steve Jobs may have influenced, basically persuaded people to be entrepreneurs just by his by his speeches that he gave, and how much his speeches may have impacted other entrepreneurs. So this would be another one I'd want to add to my list. So I'm going to go back to our original list and keep going. Here's one called Ultimate Icon. So I click on Ultimate Icon, and it says the author conveys his thoughts about his relationship with American entrepreneur, marketer, and inventor Steve Jobs as his biographer, and how Jobs connected the humanities to technology. So this is an example of how he connected the humanities to technology, and so how he may have influenced the humanities. Topics mentioned include the 6 industries revolutionized by Jobs, the impact of Jobs on business in general. So you could see where this would be a very good article for how your interdisciplinary thinker has influenced other fields. So I definitely want to add that to my folder. Come back. Sounds or silence. Now, you wouldn't normally click that unless you read the little description. It says, in an interview with BookTrack founder and Chief Executive Officer, CEO Paul Cameron is presented. He admits that if the company was launched after Apple had Steve Jobs resigned, it may not have, and then you just click on it and continue reading the abstract. It might not have gotten any attention. Okay, so this is an example of how Steve Jobs, being in his position, impacted this particular person's company. So I want to add that. Okay, and I'm going to go back and look for more. Sorry if I went too fast there. Here's one, how Apple revolutionized our world. That would be another one that I want to add. Here's one, 1997 to 2011. The article looks at the life of the late Steve Jobs, co-founder of Apple, and his return to Apple company in 1997 till his death. Topics discussed include how his leadership saved, and then you just keep reading the abstract. Saved Apple from bankruptcy. The development of the iPod 3 music player is noted, and how its influence on industrial design. So this would be an example of how Steve Jobs influenced industrial design. So I'm going to click on Add to Folder, go back and look for more. And here's one right here, opting out of over-optimism. This is from a psychological point of view, and basically it's an analysis of Steve Jobs and how he is overly optimistic, and how that led to some successes but some failures in his life as well. So I'd want to add that also. Now, the last, let's go back. I'm going to go back again to results list. Okay, and the last one, well then the next thing I suggest is to keep going, go to the next 30 to see if there might be other relevant articles. Okay, here's one, computer is modern art. So I'm going to click on that. Okay. And if I read the article looks at the impact Steve Jobs, co-founder of technology company Apple, had on design. Topics discussed include the way Jobs combined functionality and form. It also talks about, if I read the article, and it mentions that artists started to use Apple to do their artwork, whereas in the past they would do everything by hand. So artists really took a liking to Apple's products for artwork. So that's an example of a field that Steve Jobs definitely influenced. I'm going to add to folder. So this is why I challenge you to continue going beyond the first 30 because you might find something relevant. Okay? So now you see that we found a whole bunch of articles. I'm going to go up to my folder. So you want to go to your folder. Click on folder. And the next thing you notice, we found 11 articles. And I'm going to select all of them. And what I want to do is I want to email them to myself. So what you'd want to do is click on email. And you can type your email address and then the subject. And then over here, this is the critical part. Keep these two checked because that'll send our documents to you in HTML and in PDF. And then you want to click on citation format. So I'm going to click on citation format and click on MLA. So it'll put it into the MLA format for you. I'm not going to click send. I'm going to show you how this looks when I go to print it, so you can see what the citations look like. So I'm going to click on print. And I'm going to go to citation format, scroll down to MLA, and then I'm going to click on print. I'm going to click on cancel so you can see what it looks like. So this creates a works cited list. Again, you'd have to put it into chronological order at the end of your paper. But and also another caveat is make sure that you have your citation manual nearby, so just to make sure that the database has put the citations in the right format for you. Okay, so what you'd want to do is just copy and paste this into your document, into your paper. Alright, so this is your list, citation list. So you guys are really lucky. It takes a lot of time away from you in that it creates the citations for you. Alright, so the last thing I'm going to show you is that if you have any questions and need any assistance, you can always contact me just by emailing myself, and my email address is parrigo@lee.edu. And you can also, when the library is open, you can click on Ask a Librarian or our chat feature. You click on that and you can interact with us via chat. Alright, and that's all I have for you, and good luck in your research this semester. Thank you.